Theme unit tests, or essentially, I'm kind of generally talking about WordPress sample content. So, theme unit tests come in two main forms. You can get an XML file that you can import into your WordPress installation, or there's a few plugins that you can use. And they essentially provide sample content for you to test your theme and make sure that everything that somebody might put into a post or page is accounted for. So make sure all your headings and your lists and your block quotes and your post types and everything look good. So why would you use them? You could, whether you're building your own site or building a theme to release to others or building a theme for someone else, it can be useful. So you can test theme candidates for your site or project. So if you're using a ready-made theme, if you've got a test site that's got one of these unit tests on it, you can just activate a whole bunch of themes and see how well they style all the different things that WordPress can do. And you'll save time testing it before you start using it. They're using it for 6 months and finding out that it doesn't have, styles for lists or block quotes, or it looks really horrible with videos embedded, or has really terrible galleries, something like that. And then also you can use it to check your own theme development. So especially if you're releasing a theme to the public, you really need to check that you've properly styled everything that WordPress does. So you've got your visual editor and users can just click on any of those things to make something bold or to create a list or to add a heading or a block quote. You want to make sure that they're all styled properly and distinguishable as different types of content than just a plain paragraph. The primary test unit that you might use, there's one from WordPress.org that you can download. That's the first link there, the theme unit test page that explains the unit test, gives you a link to download the XML file. The second link there is an actual test site on WordPress.com that displays all the content that's in it, so that's where that screenshot's from. This test unit includes images and embeds, so audio, video, Twitter embeds, all the things that WordPress supports, all the visual editor styles, so different heading levels, ordered lists, unordered lists, block quotes. It also does post formats, so if your theme supports post formats of quote or image or gallery, it supports those. Not all themes have different styles for these post formats, but if they do, you can see what they're like. And I have a presentation on my SlideShare page that I'll show you the link to in a sec, that where I did this with a whole bunch of themes to see how they support those formats. And it also does categories and tags. So this test unit has a ridiculous number of categories and tags to make sure that your theme looks okay when it lists a whole lot of categories and tags. And it tests things like titles and excerpts, see password protected content there, a really long title, so it makes sure that the title wraps rather than extending your web page for a mile, all that sort of thing. That one's quite useful. Another one, WP Test from wptest.io, is based on WordPress's unit test, but it's just a bit different. So it uses some cool images of superheroes. I kind of like them. The WordPress.org one has a lot of weird category names, like just random words, and I find that if I'm using it in the context of like a classroom training or something, people are like, what are these weird words all over my site? I don't understand. So it has fewer of those nonsense categories and just has more normal looking categories, and more straightforward post titles as well. So you can see here, like this one, it says template : in a whole bunch of the titles. Not really sure why, maybe just to distinguish it in case you've got a combination of your sample posts and actual posts or something, but this one doesn't do that. It just says it's a gallery post, this is an image post, and it kind of makes a little bit more sense that way. And then you've got a few different plugins. So these are just, I've listed about 3 that are kind of reasonably up to date and have a few different nice features. So this one, Demo Data Creator, is really good if you're making a BuddyPress site or a site with BBPress forums or multiple users, because it supports like sample user creation as well as posts and pages and BuddyPress content types as well, so groups and different posts and whatnot. And also supports multi-site, so you can create multiple test sites all in one go as well. So that's a bit fancy. This one is a little bit simpler, WP Lipsum. It uses shortcodes and also has a template tag if you want to actually make your own little plugin or theme file to add content in there. I was thinking that this one might be easier to use on a development site, because then you only have to, like inside each of your posts and pages, you've just got this little shortcode that says like WP Lipsum, give me 5 paragraphs or whatever, rather than this great big thing of content that then you might have to replace. I'm not really sure on that theory whether it's true. I haven't used this one in production myself, but it might be true. And then another one, WP Example Content. So this one's a lot more basic than the other previous ones. It just has a set bundle of 6 posts with your main content types that people will be using, like headings and lists and stuff. Doesn't have different post formats or more complicated, like special characters or whatever, but it does have a one button remove the sample content as well, so that's kind of handy. And if you're building a theme for like one particular client that you are really sure is not going to be using all different fancy types of content, then this might be an easier way to go.
Does the WordPress one offer removing samples?
No, because it's just an XML file. Yeah. So that's all for my slides, and I was just going to do a quick demo of using one of those. So I've just got a test site on my computer here, and it's basically WordPress as you would install it today. So it gives you one sample page, one sample post, and that's the 2014 theme. So I already downloaded this is the wptest.io one, so it gives you a zip file, and it includes the images and stuff if you need them, but there's the XML file. So what you do is in your dashboard, you go to Tools, Import, WordPress, choose your file. Okay, so then it's got a whole bunch of extra authors. So this happens, this is what it looks like to import content from any WordPress site that you have exported an XML file from. So if you go to Tools, Export, you can get an XML file. So if you had a WordPress.com site, wanted to move to your own server, you would use this XML export thing to move your content to your new site. And so yeah, that's what we're doing here. And so if you didn't want all these sample users, you can assign all of the posts and pages to yourself, and I think I'll do that because I don't want to get too crazy with multiple users on my test site. And also make sure that you check the download and import file attachments if you have an internet connection, that is, because what it's doing is it's like fetching the files from the original site that this was created on. Sometimes it takes a while because of that image fetching thing. And I haven't actually tested this wptest.io one yet. I downloaded the wordpress.org theme unit test just in case, which is the one that I usually use. Let's hope that goes alright. On a slightly different note, I have this program called Dash. Has anyone seen this? It's so awesome when you're developing or working with themes. So what you have is, it's like code snippets. So you can have your own code snippets. So these are some of my code snippets that you can store. And you can store any snippets. So some of them are just tests, like my little message of how people should send me money or whatever. I got tired of looking up my bank details all the time, that sort of thing. But anyway, so that's cool, but it also has documentation, so you can download all these documentation sets for WordPress, PHP. I wrote the Genesis one, so I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you'll find it. Yeah. HTML5, CSS, jQuery, it's very handy. So, and that's offline documentation as well. So if you're not connected to the internet and need to search for a PHP function or something, amazing. How much do you charge to export that for me? Joking. Export what? All that? All your snippets? Oh no, I only have these snippets on the bare remote. So you can get most of my good ones on GitHub or Gist. Yeah. Yay, so now our import WordPress is done. So if we check out our site, it should just have a whole bunch of posts and pages. So now you can see all those pages are automatically in the menu there now. That's ugly. I'm assuming that in that theme it probably looks better if you've got a featured image on sticky posts. And there we go. So we've got Twitter embeds, test out how your featured images work, and yeah. So that's what I mean by these images. Oh well, he's not a superhero. He's kind of the anti-hero, but he's pretty super. So then once you've got that there, you can test out your themes, take a look. So I've got a bunch installed here. You can have a look at one of the older WordPress default themes and see how that goes. This is a really cool post actually that I don't think is in the WordPress theme unit test. So this one, mixed nested links. So this is sometimes if you're styling lists in your theme, you might want to change your unordered lists from I think this one is disk. Maybe you want to go with square or something, but then maybe you want your the next one in to be a disk and then the next one in to be a circle or something. And so sometimes the CSS gets slightly confusing for that. So this already has various nestings done there for you, so you can test out how that works. And like, for example, I'm doing a site for some lawyers at the moment, so we had to get quite specific, with like the first one's a number, and then the second one's a lowercase letter, and then the third one is a lowercase Roman, something like that. So
if you're doing a website for lawyers, you want to make sure you get it right.
They pay really promptly. Well, my lawyer does. So you can just keep going and test out how your theme. Yeah, see, Genesis. Might need to fix that up. That's supposed to be like an ordered item, so that should be a number or a letter or something, but they've only specified, or they might have specified that all all ULLIs should be circle disk. Yes. Yeah. So that's theme unit testing really. Any questions? Yep.
Save me so much.
Yeah. And then I think that other what did I want to say about that other one? The Libsyn with the shortcodes. Like this is really handy if your client or you don't have your content ready yet, but you know that you approximately want like 1 paragraph here and 3 paragraphs there. You can just chuck specifically in there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How long into a WordPress career does it take you to discover this? Was this the first thing?
Several years.
Okay.
I don't know how long it existed before I found it.
Okay. But
I'll
before
say
you
that
found
much.
You found it. So did you then go back to any of your old things that you've already distributed for clients and test it out?
No.
What?
Yeah, cool. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.